Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're tackling a classic grid traversal problem called Pacific-Atlantic water flow. It sounds a bit epic, and the solution has a really cool trick to it. We'll break it down step by step so it's super clear. Let's get started. So here's the setup. We have an island represented by a grid of numbers, where each number is the height of that piece of land. The island is surrounded by two oceans. The Pacific Ocean touches the top and left edges, and the Atlantic Ocean touches the bottom and right edges. Now, how does the water move? The problem states that rain can flow from one cell to a neighboring cell, but only if the neighbor's height is the same or lower. Think of it like water naturally flowing downhill. And of course, any cell right next to an ocean can just drain right into it. Our ultimate goal is to find all the special starting points. These are the cells where, if it rained there, the water could find a path to the Pacific Ocean. And it could also find a path to the Atlantic Ocean. It doesn't have to be the same path, just that both are possible. We need to return a list of the coordinates for all of these special cells. Let's look at this example. How would we figure this out for a single cell? Let's take that middle cell with the height of 5. To see if it's a valid answer, we'd have to start a search, like a depth-first search or a breadth-first search, to see if we can find a path of non-increasing numbers to the top or left edge. Then, we'd have to start another search from that same cell to see if we can reach the bottom or right edge. Doing this for every single cell seems inefficient. We'd be exploring the same paths again and again. For a large grid, this brute force method would be way too slow. There has to be a better way to think about this. And here's the key insight, the aha moment for this problem. Instead of thinking about water flowing downhill to the oceans, let's imagine the oceans are rising and water is flowing inland. The rule is just reversed. Water can flow from the ocean to an adjacent cell if the cell's height is greater than or equal to the water's current height. So here's our new plan. We'll have two grids to keep track of what's reachable, one for each ocean. First, we'll start a search from every single cell touching the Pacific and explore as far inland as we can, marking every reachable spot. Then, we'll do the exact same process, but starting from the Atlantic coast. The cells we're looking for are simply the ones that got marked as reachable in both of our searches. Alright, here is the complete Python code for this approach. It might look a little dense at first, but we're going to break it down piece by piece. First, the setup inside our main function. We handle the edge case of an empty grid. Then we get the number of rows and columns for convenience. Most importantly, we create two sets, one called Pacific Reachable and one called Atlantic Reachable. These will store the coordinates of all the cells that can be flooded by each ocean. Next, we need to kick off our searches from the coastlines. We loop through every column. For each column, we start a depth-first search from the top row, that's the Pacific side, and store the results in our Pacific Reachable set. At the same time, we start a search from the bottom row for the Atlantic. Then we do the same thing for the rows, starting searches from the leftmost column for the Pacific and the rightmost column for the Atlantic. Now let's look at the search function itself. This is a pretty standard depth-first search. The first if statement handles all of our base cases. We stop if we're out of bounds, if we've already visited this cell, or, and this is the important part, if the current cell's height is less than the previous cell's height. This enforces our flowing uphill rule. If we pass those checks, we add the cell to our visited set, and then recursively call the search on all four of its neighbors. Finally, after both the Pacific and Atlantic searches are complete, our two sets are fully populated. All we have to do is find the intersection of these two sets. This gives us only the coordinates that appeared in both searches. We convert this result into a list, and that's our answer. So how efficient is this? The time complexity is big O of m times n, where m and n are the grid dimensions. This is because each cell will be visited a constant number of times, at most once for the Pacific search, and once for the Atlantic search. The space complexity is also big O of m times n. This is for the two sets we use to track reachable cells, and also for the recursion call stack in the worst-case scenario. Alright, as promised, here is the full solution in Java. It follows the exact same logic, using a depth-first search from the borders. The main difference is using a 2D Boolean array instead of a set. You can pause here to take a closer look. Next up, here's the C++ version. Again, same logic, same performance. We're using a vector of vectors of booleans to keep track of the reachable cells. Feel free to pause and review the code. And finally, here is the solution in JavaScript. We initialize our 2D arrays to track visits, and then run the same depth-first search logic from the coasts. Hopefully seeing it in a few different languages helps solidify the concepts. So let's wrap up. The big lesson from this problem is about perspective. When a direct path from a source to a destination seems complicated and repetitive, try flipping it around. Start your search from the destination and see what sources you can reach. It's a really powerful technique that you can apply to lots of other graph and grid problems. If you enjoyed this problem and want to keep practicing, the learning doesn't have to stop here. I've organized all my video solutions into handy playlists. Whether you're looking to grind through more Leetcode easy, medium, or hard problems, or you want to master a specific topic like sliding window or dynamic programming, I've got a playlist for you. It's the perfect way to focus your study sessions. Go to the Playlist tab and find a playlist that fits your goals. Also, if you're looking for even more Leetcode problems beyond the daily challenge, I've started a second channel called Leetcode Unlocked. It's where I'll be posting solutions to a ton of other problems, so if you're serious about your interview prep, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. Hope this Leetcode solution breakdown made sense. If it helped, give that like button a click, maybe subscribe for more, or drop a comment if you have questions. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know straight away when I upload a video, because I upload videos daily. This channel doesn't make any money from sponsorships or ads yet, so if you're feeling generous, there's always the Boba Fund. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.